Today, I'm teaching you how to make some delicious raspberry macarons. These macarons are made with an Italian-style meringue, and then the filling inside is a raspberry-inspired ganache. Whether you're a pro at making macarons or you're just a beginner, this recipe will walk you through everything you need to know, including the hard parts of making macarons and where you want to make sure you get perfectly right. If you have any questions throughout the baking process, don't forget to check the link in the description below. I have lots of different troubleshooting guides linked. Plus, you can always leave a comment and I'll help you out. Don't forget to subscribe for even more recipes and tips in our macaron baking series. Before we can begin baking, we have to do some prep work. Separate your egg whites from your egg yolks and then allow the egg whites to come to room temperature. Egg whites foam best at room temperature around 70 to 80 degrees, which is why this step is necessary. If you'd like, you can also age your egg whites. This helps some of the excess moisture evaporate. Place a piece of plastic wrap over the egg whites and then poke a couple holes with a knife. Then you'll place these into the refrigerator for 2 to 5 days before you want to bake. Next, weigh out all of your dry ingredients on a digital scale. This helps ensure that all of your measurements will be accurate. Once everything is weighed, it's time to sift the almond flour and confectioner's sugar together. You'll want to do this twice, and while you're doing this, discard any large pieces of almond flour that may cause your shells to be bumpy. Next, wipe down the stand mixer bowl and whisk attachment with a little white vinegar on a paper towel to remove any leftover oils. Fats interfere with the aeration of the egg whites and can ruin your meringue, which is why this step is so important. Next, grab a light colored sheet pan and print off a macaron template. I have a free template that you can print out. I'll link it in the description below. Then place that under a piece of parchment paper. Finally, it's time to prepare your piping bag. You can use either a 1/2 inch round piping tip or something a little bit smaller, which will give you some more control. Place the piping tip inside the bag and then push part of the side of the piping bag into the piping tip to ensure none of the batter leaks out. Set the bag inside a tall glass and pull the remaining top of the piping bag out over the glass. Next, it's time to make the Italian meringue. Add 105 grams of egg whites along with 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar to a stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment. Whip on medium speed until the eggs are very foamy, right before soft peaks form. This usually takes about 6 or 7 minutes. While that's going, we're going to start on the sugar syrup. Add 150 grams of granulated sugar and 57 grams of water to a saucepan. Cook that over medium-high heat until it reaches 244 degrees Fahrenheit on a digital thermometer. Now that your egg whites are foamy, we're going to slowly start to drip the hot sugar syrup into the egg whites while the mixer is on medium-high speed, around 7 on a KitchenAid mixer. Be sure that the sugar runs down the bowl and doesn't hit the whisk attachment or it will splatter along the side of the mixing bowl. Do this process slowly so that the egg whites can heat up slowly and not too quickly. Then allow the Italian meringue to continue to whip for about 4 to 5 minutes until it reaches stiff peaks. Here's an example of soft peaks and medium peaks to help you see visually what each of these stages looks like and how they differ from stiff peaks. Once you get to stiff peaks, you'll notice a few signs. When you pull the whisk out of the mixer, a stiff peak should stand straight up with no curl at the tip. You'll also notice that the meringue starts to ball up inside the whisk while it's mixing. When you visually inspect the meringue, you can see pointy offshoots of egg whites in the bowl. And finally, you can fully flip the bowl over and nothing moves or falls out. Next, it's time to fold in our dry ingredients. We're using 144 grams of both almond flour and confectioner's sugar that have been sifted together. Gently fold these into the egg whites using a silicone spatula until all the meringue is fully incorporated and no dry bits remain. Then it's time to add in 1 to 5 drops of gel food coloring. Don't use liquid as it will add in too much moisture to the batter. Then we'll begin working the batter until everything is fully incorporated. This is called the macaronage process. Slowly spread the mixture along the side of the bowl and then wipe it back down. You'll need to do this a handful of times until the mixture reaches a smooth, shiny, and flowy consistency. This is a really important step to get correct when making macarons. Macaronaging takes some time and practice in order to learn the correct consistency of the batter. Perfectly macaronaged batter gives you almost a lava-like consistency. We've now reached the perfect stage where when you drop ribbons into the bowl, they should disappear in about 10 to 15 seconds. Here's an example of over macaronaged batter, and this is way too thin and runny. To Spoon the batter into the prepared piping bag, and then pipe the batter onto your prepared baking sheet by holding the bag vertically and gently squeezing until the batter reaches 1.5 inches. If you're using my circle template, which I'll link in the description below, this is the middle ring. Once you've reached your desired size, release the pressure on the bag and twist your wrist without lifting up. It takes a little bit of time and practice to perfectly pipe your macarons. Next, tap the sheet pan on the counter a few times to release any air bubbles. This is a crucial step to avoid cracked macarons. You can then pop any of the air bubbles that have risen to the top with a toothpick. From here, allow the macarons to dry on the counter for 60+ minutes. You're looking for a thin skin to develop. You should be able to touch the tops without ruining the macarons to know that they've fully dried. Then these macarons will need to go into the oven to bake for 19 to 23 minutes. While those are baking, it's time to prepare the raspberry chocolate ganache. We'll start out by heating 75 grams of heavy cream in the microwave. Once it's hot, add in 125 grams of semi-sweet chocolate morsels. Make sure they're all covered under the heavy cream so that way they can melt. You'll need to leave these for 3 minutes straight without stirring. Then add in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of raspberry fruit spread, and 1/8 teaspoon of fine sea salt. Stir everything together until the ganache forms. If there are still small bits of chocolate or butter after stirring, you can heat the mixture in the microwave for an additional 15 to 30 seconds. And then you should be able to stir it together until it forms a smooth and shiny ganache. This will need to firm up before we can pipe it in the macarons, so pop that bowl into the fridge and allow the mixture to cool until it's firm enough to pipe, which usually takes about 90 minutes. Then pipe about a teaspoon of the chocolate ganache onto your macarons, and then these can go into the refrigerator to mature overnight and allow the flavors to deepen and marry together. The full recipe along with tips and tricks will be linked in the description below.